Hey riders, let's talk about braking now. Braking is used to control our speed or come to a stop without skidding. To do that, we want to start by being in a good ready position so that we can keep our balance as the bike is slowing down. We want to pull both brake levers evenly. Watch what happens if I just pull the back brake. The bike's not stopping, it's sliding. And if we just pull the front brake, we might have to be concerned about something like this happening, which is bad as well. So to keep those from happening, we're going to pull both brake levers evenly. The last thing that we're going to do is we're going to think about our feet. I'm going to drop the heel of my forward foot in order to brace myself through my feet. So as the bike is slowing down, I push through my feet and keep my balance in the center of the bike so that I don't end up getting heavy on my hands. So I'm going to show you what that looks like before we practice together. All right, coaches, let's talk briefly about why braking is such an important skill for us to work on. What we should be aware of is that when riders are able to stop confidently and securely, it then allows them to start riding faster. When we see riders progressing in speed before they have progressed good braking technique, they're often skidding or leading to some other behaviors out on the trail that we don't want to see. So let's really work on good braking, provide some drills and progressions for them to continue working. And what you notice is as they start braking better, they can start riding more confidently down the trail. And as a coach, you can be a little bit more relaxed because you know that they're riding safely. Another reason why we want to work on our braking is so that we're not skidding down the trail. Skidding is going to damage the back tire, causing it to wear out early, but it's also damaging the trails. So we don't want to cause any disrespect to the trail builders that have spent so much time working on our trails by skidding down the trail, creating ruts, and then promoting erosion each time it rains. So let's really help riders to understand that they should keep their tires rolling as they come to a stop and not skidding. All right, coaches, now let's talk about some progressions that we may introduce as the riders are practicing their braking. As they start practicing first, I would suggest to them, stop anywhere in the cones and then ride away and allow that to happen. Next, I would say, let's try stopping at a very specific point down here as I point down to where I want them to stop. Maybe right in front of those cones, or maybe I'm putting a hand out asking them to stop right in front of me. Next, I may suggest that they shift 1 or 2 gears harder and do it again. That will allow them to ride faster, and then the stopping becomes a little bit more progressive. My next progression is often pointing out to riders that if they can stop really well, they shouldn't have to put a foot down immediately. Maybe they can pause without moving just for a split second and then ride away. I have one more progression that I'm interested to share with you. Set up a row of cones and like a line. I call this off the cliff, and suggest to riders that if they go beyond the cones, they're going off the cliff. And I ask them to see how quickly they can ride through the cone area and come to a stop close to the cones, pause without putting a foot down, and then turn and ride away without going off the cliff. It's a fun game. It creates an element of consequence, but it's really just fun and engaging and progressing their skills. And then the one last thing that I like to throw in there is sometimes I'll stand on the other side of the cones and just give them a stare as if there really is some consequence if they were to keep going through the cones. The next progression I have related to braking is much more like a game, and it's one of my favorites. It's the cardboard slide. We are going to take a piece of cardboard, roughly the size of a pizza box, and put it on the grass. We're going to ask riders to ride straight over the cardboard. When their back tire is on the cardboard, they're going to grab and lock just their back brake, and then they're going to slide forward and see how far they can go on that piece of cardboard. This is just a fun activity that really promotes playfulness and how cool we are as coaches to have fun on bikes. On your mark, get set, go. There we go. Next, go back up and touch the fence. Oh, missed it. Come on. 1, 2.
It didn't skid.
Oh, you're a little, all right, good, 3. Now let's talk about a few errors that we may see related to braking. The first is that you're noticing the rider is having unusual trouble simply stopping. Let's make sure that their brake levers are in the appropriate position so that they can reach them comfortably and easily and use the brakes. And we may need to double check to just make sure that the brakes actually function the way that they're intended. Next, we notice that the riders are taking their feet or foot off of their pedal early. Let's point out to them that they're doing this in a really safe area, coming to a nice slow and gentle stop, so they shouldn't feel that urge to immediately put their feet down. We want them to develop a habit where they keep their feet on their pedals, pushing through their feet in order to keep their balance as they're slowing down. Another error that we commonly see is the rider creeps forward braking, but not actually coming to a stop. That's another situation where they're fearful of what to do when they are coming to a stop and they immediately want to put their feet out. Let's help them to understand that they can come to a stop safely and still have plenty of time to put a foot down without tipping over. Another error that we may see is that riders are getting heavy on their hands as they're coming to a stop. Let's point out that they really need to be dropping that heel and pushing through their feet in order to help them keep their balance. As the bike slows down, their body wants to keep going forward. That's what's causing them to get heavy on their hands. And by dropping that heel and pushing through their feet, they resist those forces and stay nice and balanced in the center of the bike. The next error is that we notice riders are skidding frequently or unusually. Let's make sure that they're using both brakes. In many cases, if they're skidding with the rear tire, they're using too much rear brake and not enough or any front brake at all. So let's help them understand they have to be pulling both brake levers evenly and appropriately so that both tires continue rolling without skidding. The last of our common errors related to braking are when riders have developed this habit of moving their hips unusually back. That may be something we do when we're stopping very suddenly and quickly as we're trying to offset the forces that want our body to keep going forward. But when we're practicing our essential skills and even beginner intermediate braking, that's likely not required. Let's reinforce dropping the heel to brace ourselves through our feet without this need to move our hips back out of the way. For what it's worth, we will transition into doing that as we get into our intermediate skills in the next session.